morning and welcome back to World Talks. This Sunday, Moldovans cast their ballots in a crucial election, one that could determine whether the country stays on its pro-European course or drifts back toward Moscow's influence. The stakes go far beyond Chişinău, with potential consequences for the wider region. To help us understand its significance, I have Piotr Oleksy, political scientist at Adam Mickiewicz University, joining me right now. Good morning, sir. Thank you for joining us this morning.
Good morning. Thank you for your invitation.
So available polls suggest that the ruling party of Action and Solidarity of President Maia Sandu is currently ahead of the pro-Russian patriotic electoral bloc. But what happens if it loses its majority after this vote? Would, say, Igor Dodon then become prime minister? Having to share power with the rival party could pose a real challenge for the president. What are your predictions?
So the polls show that there are very different surveys and very different shows. Some of them shows that pro-Russian opposition is ahead before ruling pro-European party. So, and the problem of surveys is that that 1 year ago during the presidential elections there was so many mistakes in surveys that frankly speaking we don't know. We don't know what is the real support for political parties, and there are many possibilities if ruling party lose majority in parliament. They still have an option to build a coalitions with which one of two smaller party, because besides those two main camps, pro-European PAS party and the patriotic bloc, which is pro-Russian, there are two small parties in the center of the political scene, let's say, and they have chances to go to the parliament as well. So there are many options now with possible coalitions of the PAS with one of those party, or coalition of patriotic bloc with one of those central parties.
Okay, so let's zoom in on these smaller parties like the alternative bloc, for instance. What are some of the possible pairings that you're talking about?
So, alternative bloc, the threshold for them is 7%. So they are balancing on the threshold as the surveys show. And the Alternativa bloc, they present themselves now as pro-European, but the leaders formation has a long story of collaboration with Russia in their past. So, frankly speaking, I think that election results, that will be the first step, because we should expect very intense, very intensive and very dynamics next weeks on the political scene in Moldova.
That is very interesting. And looking at Moldova's demographics, who votes for whom? I mean, do we see, for instance, the patriotic bloc doing better in rural areas or among certain age groups?
Yes, it's a good question, because generally speaking, older people goes to vote more often. That's one thing, and the patriotic bloc, the pro-Russian parties, are more popular on the north of the country and on the south of the country. The middle, the center of the country is much more pro-European. Generally speaking, it's always used to be that the younger people, let's say 40 and less than 40, or now it's maybe 50, let's say 40 and less than 40, they are much more pro-European, much often pro-European, but in the same time now they are, a lot of them are disappointed by the last 4 years of the PAS rules, how the PAS was ruling. So the question is if they will go to vote, if they will support the pro-European path once again, or maybe they will stay home. And there is one more interesting and very important part of the electorate. It's a diaspora, the Moldovans who live abroad, mainly in European Union, and they are very pro-European, and they are always support Maya Sandu and PAS in last elections, and their mobilization could be crucial for the last result of these elections.
And who could influence the vote? What about the Orthodox Church? Because there were reports of some bribes, and what kind of role does the Orthodox Church play?
So the Orthodox Church, of course, plays quite significant role in the society, but they let's say that they are pro-Russian for all the time. So it's nothing changed. It's nothing new for last 3 decades. What is new is the question of the massive bribes and the political corruption created by the so-called Shore network. Ilan Shore is a former Moldovan oligarch who lives in Moscow, and he 1 year ago during the presidential election and the referendum, he created a kind of network of people who tried to reach to as much people as it is possible to pay them to vote for pro-Russian candidates and against European Union. And they are trying to do the same this year. Moldovan government says that Russian budget for that operation is about 400 million euros. So, and of course, it's not only for political corruption, it's also for disinformation, which is huge in Moldovan internet and other actions.
Right. I mean, there's no doubt that Russian disinformation and meddling have been prevalent prior to the vote. But how effective have they been?
So we will see. We will see today or maybe tomorrow when we will have when we will see results. But there are two things. There are two phenomena, two dynamics in the same time. On the one hand, we have a Russian ingression, in the political system by money, by paying, by bribes, and by disinformation. And on the other hand, we have that disappointment of past. And that disappointment creates a field to that disinformation. And when those two dynamics works together, it creates very dangerous situation for pro-European path in Moldova.
By all means. Now, two pro-Russian parties have been barred from the election, with Heart of Moldova excluded just days ago. So how was that received in the country, and what kind of message does it send?
Those are two different questions because there are two different parties. So one of them is it's Moldova Mare, the Great Moldova. It's like something like fake party. It was created a few months ago by one politician, a woman who is open. Everybody knows that she's connected with Ilan Shore and Russia, and nobody was surprised that she was banned. The second question is the party, the Heart of Moldova, which leader is a former governor of the Gagauz autonomy, which is on the south of the Moldova, and that party was a part of the patriotic bloc. So they didn't go to the elections by themselves, but in the bigger group of the patriotic bloc. And the whole patriotic bloc and their supporters speaks now about the dictatorship, about the lack of democracy, about the government and the justice system who is breaking the democracy in Moldova because of banning the Heart of Moldova.
Right, and you've mentioned Gagauz, and of course we also have Transnistria. What is the role of people from these regions and sort of their influence?
So the Gagaouzians, they are very pro-Russians for always, and they will vote for the patriotic bloc for sure, for about 90% of them, I think. But about Transnistria, it's a little bit complicated because Transnistrians, people from Transnistria, the pro-Russian Republic, recognized republic on the left bank of the Dniester River. If they want to vote, they have to go to the right bank of the river. So they have to go to the territory which is ruled by the government of Moldova. And I don't expect that there will be much. I don't expect a lot of voters from the Transnistria in these elections. What Chişinău did, what the government did, they started a they started to rebuild the bridges on the Dniester River, all the bridges, and they are temporarily closed. You know that not closed totally, but the cars don't go there very, very quickly. So and I think that everybody thinks that it was a kind of political action to stop voters from Transnistria to stop them, to make voting for them harder.
Mm-hmm. And you've said that for things to take their final shape after the vote, it will take some time, right, with parties negotiating with one another. So my question is, do you think that the Russian meddling will continue after the vote, and how unstable could Moldova get?
Yes, I think yes, and they will try to reach the politicians from the different politicians to pay them, for example, to vote, to join to the patriotic bloc, to join the coalition to patriotic bloc, and I think that they will put a lot of money on the table here, and in the same time they can use, you know, the carrot and the stick method, you know. So in one hand you have money to pay somebody, and other hand you have some threats for them, and I hope I'm wrong, but we can expect that there will be some kind of even few weeks or few months of destabilization, of the political destabilization in Moldova.
Mm-hmm. And looking beyond Moldova, why this election matters for the whole region?
So Moldova is very important for few reasons. Of course, the one reason is that European Union and the West put a lot of money in that, and a lot of own credibility. So that will be some kind of loss for European Union as well. And it is very important from the from the strategical point of view for the southwestern Ukraine. It's very close to Odessa, so the pro-Russian government in there could put Ukraine, southwestern Ukraine, Odessa, in very difficult situation.
Piotr Oleksy, political scientist, Adam Mickiewicz University. Thank you, sir, for being with us this morning and for sharing your insights. Much appreciated.
Thank you.
And thank you for watching World Talks. Please stay tuned for more here on TV.